he had an unbelievable Champions League run all the way to the semi-finals with Valencia.
Yeah.
But just before that, we had a night at the San Siro where certain Dominic Matteo popped up with a rare goal.
Very rare.
Sent the Leeds faithful crazy. Talk us through that night, the goal, the performance.
I generally believe, for me, I didn't have many moments in my life where I thought, wow, that was the best. That generally was for me. Just to see the amount of Leeds fans that were in the stadium and the atmosphere, and having a few people close to me, family and friends, and my agent and advisors who looked after me in my career, and to be there at the San Siro because they knew what Italy meant to me and my family. So it was amazing. I think scoring, I was obviously in shock because I didn't score many. And I think the lads were looking around to see, is that Dom Carter scored there?
Who's wearing Matteo's shirt?
Yeah, exactly. But it's just incredible. And I think because of that game, obviously, even nowadays, I've had really good rapport with the fans, and they still sing that song now, which is unbelievable for me. There's not many lead songs that they sing, and for them to sing that, it's been amazing for me. And I think, but obviously, in my tough times, it's kind of, I always think of them good moments because you have to and draw upon them and gives you the strength. But it was, what a time. And obviously, when we went to Milan, just even staying in Lake Como, we're used to travel onto it. We're now staying in Lake Como, one of the best, the best hotels in the world. I think Ville d'Est or something, I think it's called. It's funny how I can't remember anything at the moment because of my injury, my illness, but I can remember the actual hotel we stayed in Milan, which is bizarre.
That's how nice it was.
It's very expensive, believe me. I've checked it out. I won't be staying there again. It's far too posh for me. But I just remember, this is just classic for me because I remember random stuff. Big Mark Viduka liked his grub, obviously, as we all did. We all footballers just ate like for fun. Just remember, me and Mark were having a nice plate of lasagna, night before the game. And we just couldn't stop eating it. It was just like, whoa, what is this lasagna? And obviously, I'm grown up on that. And it was just amazing. Just sat in, we were in Lake Como, right there, having something to eat, and getting ready for a game like that. And just, that's what you dream of as a young lad. Them type of games, they don't come around very often. When they do, you've got to kind of grab hold of it. And I think we all did around that. It wasn't about me scoring the goal; it was about the fans. To be honest, the fans were incredible that night.
I think I understand your family, obviously with the Italian connection as well. There was an influence of Milan and the Maldinis on your family. I think your father was. My
dad was a huge Maldini fan for Cesar. So obviously Paolo's father. He was. I grew up on the name Maldini. My dad's always wanted me to be like him, play like him. No pressure, like playing like Cesar Maldini. Or
what did he ever achieve?
I know, yeah, exactly. It's bonkers, but my dad had high standards for me, and he knew the type of player that maybe I could be, or try and be, or emulate. And sometimes my dad was always random with players. I mean, he used to love Puskas, Di Stefano. Luckily I got to meet them two when we played Real Madrid. I mean, I was in the bar in Ulton Hall in Leeds. Macca had come to see me, Stevie Mac, before we played the game, and I seen two older guys smoking a massive cigar, and I thought, they kind of look, familiar. Who are these two guys? Like, he's like, oh, you don't know who they are? And he went, Puskas and Di Stefano. I was like, are you? Because they were like, at that point, I'd watched 100 great sporting moments where Real Madrid beat Eintracht 7-3 at Hampden Park, and my dad was at the game. So there's a lot of history of that game. I've watched that game back. I mean, Real Madrid at that point, Eintracht, unbelievable teams, and the football they were playing was incredible. And just to my dad's emotion around them games, because my dad went to a lot of European Cup finals. He took my mum to the European Cup final in 1967, first British team to win it, Celtic. My dad was a mad Celtic fan, so he was at the game with my mum. So imagine my mum and dad going to that game. I mean, dressed all in this. My dad obviously dressed in his suit, because that's the way everyone dressed back then. And my mum had to dress up and travel to Lisbon. But it's just, when my mum and dad talk about that, it really, really gets me, because that must have been an unbelievable era to be around as a fan or anything. Traveling around the world watching these teams play And I've seen that a little bit and experienced it myself as a player. So it was good to kind of, my mum and dad have experienced, the big games and being around that as well. For me, it just felt nice, and obviously to get to game time and play against AC Milan, I think for my family and stuff, it was a nice touch for me. And to be honest, my mum and dad still talk about that now, because my dad had to do a few interviews in Italian for Gazzetta dello Sport. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, so so that was nice to do. But I obviously couldn't do the interviews. My dad had to do it in Italian. But yeah, it was just nice. And I think from a mum and dad's point of view, to get a little bit of credit for what they did for me, it was always nice to say that. And that's, we all know that in life, and nothing without a family. As simple as that. And to this day, that is one of my mantras, that it's all about that. And thankfully, my mum and dad brought me up the right way.
Fantastic. So your dad getting the newspaper interviews as well is a nice touch for him. So I wanted to, you kind of mentioned this a little bit, but the gap between fans and players, fans and clubs at the moment, it feels there is a clear gap there sometimes, and the connection for many is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I understand after that Milan game, there was a rather touching moment. I think there was 7,000 or 8,000 Leeds fans in the stadium, and if I'm correct, the players were singing songs to the Leeds fans, and the Leeds fans were singing songs back to the players, and it was a moment of bonding and a moment of recognition for all involved. Could you just touch on that and just kind of talk about how special those kind of moments are?
Well, I'll never forget them games. I mean, the two big ones for me were obviously the AC Milan game, personal, but also because there was that many fans in there. I mean, it looked like everyone was from Leeds that day. It was just like, even though from AC Milan fans, it doesn't matter. Everyone was just Leeds. It was just, they were just everywhere. Even like random story, like a guy broke his arm, one guy broke his leg, and I spoke to them after, like a few months after, or a few weeks after. They were like, "Bloody love you, but I broke my leg, or I broke my arm celebrating your goal and all this." It was just great moments. But I think, I generally think that them nights, you'll never ever see that again. I don't think you'll ever see it, unless some of it's like, we've seen it, clubs like Liverpool when they win the Champions League, the celebrations they could do. But for us, for Leeds, it was mental. It was like we won the league. It was just like the fans of Leeds. And I'm biased, but they are incredible. What they've been through a lot as well. They've had a lot of success in that. They want it so bad. They're a one city team. Everything they do is Leeds. Everyone support. If you're from Leeds, you support Leeds. You do have a few others that are not, but not many. And they don't mention that if they're from Leeds. If you're from Leeds, you support Leeds. It's as simple as that. They're a tough town. They're a tough city. I love that. That's what I love about Leeds. Big physical city, and what they do. It's all about Leeds. Let's be honest. And just some of them nights. I think the best two for me would definitely be the AC Milan away and the Lazio away as well, which I think we won 1-0. I think Smithy scored the winner, but it was a great move, the goal building up to that, and at that point, obviously Lazio were a good side as well. So the celebrations were very similar. I think it felt like every time we were going to get a result, we were going to do that kind of celebration. It just kind of became part of it. But it was. I generally feel that was the best time in my career, because I just love playing the football. I love playing around that group of lads, and it's hard to find that, and where you're all on the same page. Unfortunately, it doesn't last forever, that kind of stuff. But while it was happening, it was amazing. I mean, I generally was. It was the best ever. And my close friend at that point was a Norwegian lad, who's still managing now, Eric Backer. And some of the nights, me and him still talk about them to this day. I've done my blog with him and spoke to him about that recently, and he loved it. He was in and out of the team at times, but he was a good player when we were really close friends. But we just had a laugh together. It's funny because like nowadays, I'm sure they all room on their own. But back then, like in going to Liverpool days, you'd have Michael Owen rooming with Jamie Carragher, I'd be in with Razor. There'd be different scenarios. Me and Eric Backer, there'd be like Lee Bowyer and trying to think someone else who smoked, because you have to sometimes position people who smoke together and all that kind of stuff. So it was just an era where I just loved that era. And I think for any Leeds fan, obviously they won a lot. They won some stuff in the 70s and stuff like that. And obviously winning the league for the last team to win the actual league. They have had such success, and I'm just gutted that we didn't get them a trophy. That would have been my ultimate goal, to have won something with Leeds, because they deserved it, and I think the fans deserve it. And what we're seeing now is great, and long way that continue under Bielsa and his squad, because the team are doing great at the moment.